Van Deeb, a dynamic leader with decades of experience building companies and crushing sales. He's been there and done that.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello. My name is Van Deeb.
Inspiring audiences across the country to do it too. Here's Van.
Thank you.
Hi, Van.
Hi.
Van Deeb in our studio. This is
gosh.
exciting.
Yes.
It is. It's super
Thank you.
exciting. So glad to have you up here.
Me too.
Just as a little background, if somebody has no idea who Van Deeb is, they just moved to Omaha, and they hear your name come up all the time.
Yeah.
What's the beginning? How did Van Deeb get started?
So I've been here. We moved here from Kearney when I was 6. So that was about 10 years ago.
Yes, I can see that.
No. That was, we moved to Omaha when I was 6 back in the early 60s, mid 60s. And I think Omaha's the greatest place on the planet for good quality human beings. And one of the best places to build a business, to do business, raise a family.
Mm-hmm. Agree with that.
And I was fortunate. I found my passion at an early age, which I constantly tell people, don't feel like you have to find it at an early age like I did. You know, you can keep looking forever and find it when you're 50, like Colonel Sanders did at Kentucky Fried Chicken.
God, what a blessing he was.
Yeah.
I love Kentucky Fried
Yeah,
Chicken.
right on. I like their mashed potatoes.
Me too.
With the gravy.
Right.
With the gravy,
But I was
yes.
fortunate to be one of those that found it at 23. I found real estate, and I became addicted to it. So I worked and worked and worked, and people knew I was addicted to it, and people saw my passion. Of course, when you're passionate about what you want, about what you're doing in life, people want to join in. Mm-hmm. It's contagious. And so just in the brief, I've done real estate, still doing it. So I sold my real estate firm. I started out of my basement. That's a story right there by itself. Mm-hmm. Started in my basement. I worked for another real estate firm for 10 years, and then in 93 I decided to open my own out of my basement. The big competitors in Omaha, you'll never make it. You know, that story of there's not enough room, come be a manager with us, da-da-da. Well, that's fire for most people.
For sure, yeah.
If you've got the passion to already want to do it, that's fire to make you for sure you're going to do it. So 350 agents later, and largest independent real estate firm in the Midwest. I sold it in 2009 to a very deserving employee of mine. Mm-hmm. And I started doing motivational speaking actually about 20 years ago, and fell in love with that. When I'd see people's eyes light up, or I'd see them jot something down that they got excited about, I'm like,
instant feedback, right?
yeah. So I'm like, this is more who I am.
And that's a feeling of great satisfaction when you realize you've turned a light on for somebody, and they maybe
when you're the bright spot.
Yeah.
It's more than money. The feeling, when you're used to, because in real estate, if you're not money motivated, you don't get in it, because you're not going to not do family get-togethers and take up your weekends without being a little motivated to make a buck or two. Mm-hmm. But so I'm now all over the United States speaking to all industries, and my only reason for continuing to be in real estate is because I don't want to be one of these speakers that say, you know what, 20 years ago when I was in sales.
Right.
So when I'm out speaking to audiences right now,
That's a good point.
and they always propose challenges to me, I can say, you know what, I had a customer like that last month, and let me tell you how I handled it.
Credibility, just that's
Right.
just a whole nother level.
So in my industry, and I'm involved in lots of speakers organizations in Arizona and all that, and a lot of these top dog speakers, they haven't done any business with a client except for speaking for years and years, and I never wanted to be that guy. So I'm still out there on the streets. If I'm not speaking in some city or here in Omaha, I'm selling houses here. Mm-hmm. And that makes me relevant. And I think people really pay attention when they know you're drinking the water.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Agree
So
with that.
you're still, as far as the passion of real estate, besides money motivated, I have a feeling that you're one of those persons.
Yeah.
Is that people?
People.
You're a people.
Yeah.
But you like to see people realize their dreams and realize their passions.
That's taken the place of being money motivated to me. It really has. When you're a young buck and you want to make big bucks and do all that, but as you get older, you realize what really matters, and you can't put a trailer hitch on a hearse.
Yeah.
And
right.
so, you want to leave people, so my big thing is, while I'm here and blessed to be on this earth right now, I want to leave people better than I found them. So it's really important to me that my audiences are leaving there going, wow, I'm going to implement that tomorrow.
So then after that happens at your speaking event, I've been to some, I haven't been to any of yours, but I've been to other ones where they're, you like, or even if it's a Sunday, a sermon, right? And it's great, it's fantastic for like the next hour afterwards, you're all inspired. And then you wake up the next morning and it's like, how do you take that first step to implement everything that you talk to people about? How do you motivate them to actually do it instead of just being inspired?
So I want to give more of I want them to be able to have a flight path. So I'm talking about what they need to do tomorrow, next week, the week after. It's not a one-day fix-it-all. And you're exactly right. People get all jacked up, and then the next day they're back to their old habits.
Right.
So I really talk about creating a discipline, and making that discipline will eventually change your habit. And then that will eventually become natural. So I'm not talking about being great tomorrow. You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. And so I'm talking about baby steps. I mean, I've been a work in progress my whole life. And you want to accomplish something, you don't have to be great at it. Just take your time. Life's not a race. Make a step forward. Do something that is going to make you accomplish your goals. And so my philosophy with my speaking is like it was with real estate. When I opened up my real estate firm in '93, I wanted to be different. I wanted to have a company that didn't have all the negatives of the other companies. Even though they were great, I wanted to fix it. And I did, because they came swarming to us from other companies. I shouldn't say I did, we did. I had a great team. But the same thing in speaking. I'd go listen to speakers and they'd spend 30%, 40% of the time selling their books and tapes. So I didn't like that. I came to listen to you for an hour. So I never do. I've never once. Matter of fact, I've got a big speaking gig coming up in 2 weeks. And the owner of the company said, "Are you planning on selling any of your books there?" And I said, "No." I said, "My philosophy is, if they want to find me, if they like me, they'll find me and they'll buy my stuff."
That's got to make instantly you connect with the audience. They think you're not trying to railroad them.
The president of the company said, "I insist." And I said, "Okay."
I'll bring it.
"But I'll set up a table for after my speech, and if they want to come over and purchase my stuff." And he goes, "Thank you."
Wow.
And so I am over cautious of making sure that I'm giving an incredible value. And another thing that people kind of freak out over is, I always want to add value. It's like you guys doing what you're doing. You don't just want to do what your client's paying for.
No.
If you can find a way to add value, why not separate yourself from other companies?
Yep.
So I'm going to use an example. I've got a big gig in San Diego, April 19th. Company hires me to come out and speak for 45 minutes. I said, I also want to, as a value added, I would like to put on a workshop for your executive staff, and I'd be glad to do it for an hour, and we can talk about challenges and roll our sleeves up. And he said to me, "Well, what's that going to cost us?" And I said, "It's value added. It's all part of the fee." He goes, "Well, my gosh, Mr. Deeb, you already had
incredible.
You already had the deal, and you're proposing it after we've already signed you."
Yeah.
And I said, "I know." I said, "I don't have to. What you're saying is I don't have to do it. But the thing is, I want to. I want to be known for value. I do it with everybody. I want to be known as value added, not just coming in to pick up a check and leaving."
That's interesting, because I was going to ask you, just in general, after you've worked with somebody or after you've had a speaking engagement, what you hope people take away with them when somebody mentions your name the next time to them, what pops in their head. And I would think is that he gave more than he promised.
That's right.
I got way more than I expected.
And a guy named Lou Vickery said, if you do the 4 simple words, you'll separate yourself from the pack, and that's a little bit more. And we have the ability, and you guys heard me say the last time in a speech when I said, if we have the ability, we have the responsibility. And if you think about it, that's not just a saying. It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, we're really charged, and even if you're not spiritual like I am, or you believe that everything is coming down from the good Lord that we're doing, it should be just in who you are. What are you wasting? I mean, if you know that you can benefit somebody with a word or with something or some direction or just listening to them, why not do it?
Do it.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's so many people. That's why that's like in the same, like the industry I come from, real estate. So many people are doing less than average. When these people that separate the top 1% in real estate, there's a huge drop to everybody else.
The difference is obvious. I mean, when you meet that person that does that little extra, it's like they say, when you see somebody that you don't know and you compliment them, just randomly out of the blue, and just like, oh, this beautiful jacket, and you have no other investment with them whatsoever. You don't know how that changes their whole day. That could change their whole mindset for the day.
Exactly.
And why wouldn't
You're
you?
exactly right. You know, I'm going to give you 2 scenarios if I can, if you've got the time.
You got it.
Betcha.
Just to give you an idea. So I had a Fortune 500 company hire me to come out to Vail, Colorado. I won't mention the name. I only mention names when I put people in good light. And so, but it's a great company, great people, but they have a retention problem. They have an issue where people would quit them a lot. And so I ended up putting together a speech, and I went out there 3 days in advance. They asked me if I wanted to come out, in advance instead of just for the day I'm speaking. I said, sure. So I met all these managers. It was a managers conference of a national firm, and I changed my speech every night because I got to meet these people, and I realized why people were quitting.
Really?
Yeah, they weren't quitting the company, they were quitting their managers.
Right.
So I formed my whole speech about how to be a better manager. I had people coming up to me afterwards, one of them that was a real tough lady that I wouldn't want to work for her when I met her 2 days earlier, coming up with tears tears in her eyes, and she said, Van, she goes, the bad manager you were talking about me. I'm the person that would walk by my employees and not smile. Wow. I'm the one that would keep my head down. I'm the one that didn't ask anybody about their family and about their outside interest. I'm changing all that when I get back to work. So that was one. And then there was, so I am the outside voice that their managers may not be telling them, or they're not getting from somewhere else. I lost my filter. And that benefits people that I coach because they're getting it straight.
It's true, though. It's true. It's kind of like parents with a child, because sometimes they can't hear their parents.
Bingo.
But the next person walks in and says the exact same thing, and they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll guarantee you something. If I
choke them. I've said that for a week and a half. You didn't listen to me.
If I told my daughter something over and over again, she would say no. But if she talked to you two and she goes, Dad, Pat and JT, they told me to do this, I'd say, okay, great. Well, I've been telling you for 2 years. But you're an outside voice. So let me give you one last scenario. So there's a professional in Phoenix, Arizona that asked me to coach her in business. And I do a lot of that, and I really enjoy it. And so I said, okay, I'll give you a call. So I called her, and she had mentioned she wanted to be a rock star in real estate. And I said, great. I said, I'm the person to help you. And so I called her. And her voicemail. Now listen to this. This is her voicemail. If this is after 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I will call you back tomorrow morning between 9 and 11.
Wow.
Oops.
And so I left a message. I said, please call me whenever you get this. She did. And I said, I think I'm mistaken. And she goes, what? And this is exactly how I put it. I said, you had asked me when I met you a while back to be your coach because you wanted to be a rock star. And I said, the voicemail tells me that you've already been there and done that. You don't need people. She goes, well, my broker told me that I'm supposed to have a life after 5. And I said, well, we all have lives. But what kind of a message would somebody, you're in real estate. You're helping people the biggest investment of their life, and they can only talk to you between 9 and 11?
No thanks.
That doesn't work that way.
I said, any industry where you want to be the best of the best and you depend on the public to get you there, you're 24/7 or don't get in it.
Right.
You can balance it. It's not asking you to get your hands dirty. It's a phone call. And then you can say, where can I get you at Monday at 10? Anyway,
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for sitting down
need
with
to bring
us.
your show back.
Yeah, we need to bring your show back.
Yeah, I really enjoy connecting with people.
Yeah.
A Parkville Media Production.